Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to lesson 6.2, page 222 in your Big Ideas book, where we are going to continue with percents. We are going to compare and order some less common percents today. Less common percents, decimals, and fractions. Our essential question: how can you order numbers written as fractions, decimals, and percents? Now, if you paid attention to our previous lesson on how to convert back and forth between percents, decimals, and fractions, then this one is going to be relatively easy. The one thing you really need to know is how can you compare and order fractions, decimals, and percents? Well, you need to write all in the same form. In other words, if I give you some percents and decimals and fractions, you need to convert them either all to percents, or all to fractions, or all to decimals. And it doesn't matter which one. It is your choice. You get to look at it and decide, hey, which do I think is going to be easier? There's no perfect right or wrong way. Some ways might be quicker, some ways might be faster, some ways might be easier. However, they all work. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to it. So, we have our first example where we are going to compare fractions, decimals, and percents. And the first thing they're going to ask us to do is to decide which number is greater. And so we're taking a look at 58% and 31 over 50. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm thinking turning them into percents is going to be easier. So I'm going to take this 31 over 50 and I'm actually going to multiply by 2 so that I can have 62 over 100, because I know anything out of 100 is percent, so I know this one is 62%. Well, when I compare 58% to 62%, I know that 62% is bigger, so 31/50 is greater than 58%. So my answer is 31 over 50. Let's go to another one. Number 2, 13/25 compared to 0.48. Well, I happen to be partial to percents, so I'm probably going to convert both of them to percents. Again, could I make 0.48 into a fraction? Yes, but remember, when comparing fractions, you must have a common denominator. So you might have to change both to get that common denominator. Plus, I recognize that 13/25 is compatible with 100. So I am going to multiply 13/25 by 4. And 13 times 4 happens to be 52 over 100, which is 52%. And 0.48 multiplying by 100 moves the decimal twice. That gives me 48%. Then I know 52% is greater than 48%. So 13/25 is greater than 0.48. My final answer, 13/25. The next thing we're going to be asked to do is order the numbers from least to greatest. Well, if you can compare, if you can tell me what's bigger than the other, then once again, we can put them in order. And of course, to do this, we do have to make sure they are all written in the same form. And of course, I am partial to percent. So I can say 45%, 0.46 and 11/25. 0.46 is 46%. And if I multiply the 11/25 by 4, I would get 44 over 100, which is 44%. So now I can compare. And I know that 44% is less than 45%, which is less than 46%. So my smallest number is 11/25. My next smallest number is 45%. And the greatest number, the largest number listed in this set of numbers is 0.46. Notice I write my final answer in the form that the numbers were given to us. Let's do one more. 3 2/3, 362%, 3.66, 3 3/5, and 36. You already know I'm the guy that goes percent. So I understand I'm doing all percents. I just think it's easier. You are certainly welcome to do it in any form you want, but I'm going to go percent. So I know that 3 2/3, that's 3.6 repeating. If I turn that into a percent and move the decimal twice, I have 366.6% repeating. 362% is good. 3.66 is going to be 366%. 3 3/5, well, I happen to know that 3/5 is the same as 6/10. 6/10. And I know that 6/10 is 60%. So I know that I have 3.6, which gives me 360%. And then, of course, 36 multiplying by 100 moves the decimal twice. That is 3,600%. Wow, that's big. So now I can compare them all, and I can say, which one is the smallest number? Well, 3 3/5 is 360%, so that's the smallest number. And then I have 362%. And let's see, I'm going to mark these out as I go because otherwise I might get confused. I have 3.66 because that is slightly smaller than 3 2/3 because 3 2/3 is 366.6%. That's a slightly bigger. And of course, the last number would be 36. How nice. And ladies and gentlemen, that ends our first video. So our quick right number 1, which is greater? And then ordering from least to greatest, you might want to pause the video so that you can get these written into your notes and completed as quick writes. And of course, when you're done, take a quick break, come back and see me for video number 2.